So today I just wanted to share with you, I had a great conversation with Nick Parkinson and Amy Haywood from the Grattan Institute. And if you haven't seen it yet, I encourage you to go and check out their document, the Maths Guarantee, that was a report they've put together for primary schools to support how we can actually change the tide at the moment where we have 1 in 3 of our students in Australia not achieving basic proficiency in maths. That's a huge number. You know, just think about that. 1 in 3 don't feel confident. And if they don't feel confident in primary school, then that's only going to broaden and get bigger. That gap is going to get bigger. Their sense of wellness, their sense of ability to navigate this world is just going to reduce more and more and more. And that has huge impacts if you think about that long term for Australia as a nation, but also for the well-being of our people. So yeah, just one of the great things that I wanted to share about our conversation was seeing the importance of really efficient and accurate and clear professional learning. I don't know if you're familiar with, but at Maths Australia we offer training in a cumulative way. That means that the teacher actually has an understanding of what is necessary for a student to be able to understand the next piece, but also have the video instruction and the teacher instruction and resources to be able to teach that to their students. I mentioned to Nick and Amy, you know, this piece, I recall a radio interview I heard of a gentleman in Britain who was one of the forefathers of the Maths Association there. And I remember him saying, you know, the greatest challenge of teachers will be to see that we can actually teach in 3 years what we've thought took 12 years to teach to a student. And maths really is that simple. I know it might be hard for you to imagine, but you know, when we teach in a sequential way, we teach in a way where we're building upon one concept to the next, where we're keeping the same consistent model, the same consistent manipulative, so we're not having to reteach the manipulative, we're not having to reteach the model. We can actually teach maths as a language and bring a real understanding of what each of the symbols that a student sees mean. And that's a really key piece, a really key differentiation, is that when we want the student to approach the abstract, they can actually decode that. So if you're familiar with and proficient in teaching language or the language of English, you'll see, I hope, just from what I've shared, and even if you look at my TEDx talk, you'll see this part where maths actually is a language. Those symbols never were meant to mean anything to anybody. They don't mean anything to anybody. And if we can make it hands-on and concrete and reduce the cognitive load and walk a student through this I-CRAVE methodology that I've developed, then we actually can make maths simple, accessible to so many more students. So yeah, have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you next week.